Whew, just finished my Whatnot show and I'm glad. I'm glad I'm all finished. So I am Fenella. I am a new reseller and I am making this video to just give you a little bit of insight into what it means to leave corporate America and start an entire new journey of reselling. So just a little bit about my background. I have worked in corporate America since 1997, and I am now retiring from my corporate job and becoming a reseller. So I started reselling in October of 2023. Really got ramped up much better because I had a much better product that people wanted as of when was that? February of 2024. I through some connections, I was able to get some McDougal gowns, and those just like took off. So I have been selling like full on since February, I would say, of 2024. So currently, some of the things that I have sold is I've sold McDougal gowns. I've sold over 1,100 McDougal gowns, but I have also sold luggage. I have sold beauty products, Urban Outfitters. I've sold Pure Fiji, which are the best products. I have sold sweatshirts out of Europe. I am now currently selling Rent the Runway with flaws and some without flaws. And then today I had a luxury vintage Chanel, Fendi, Louis Vuitton show. Okay. So one of the questions that people always ask resellers is like, where do you get your stuff from? Well, most resellers aren't going to tell you that because people will just, they'll just cut out the middleman and just go directly to your source and start buying stuff. And that's really not the point of it. So really for me, I source things from everywhere. And you can see here some of my little stuff in my cute little Marc Jacobs jacket back there. That's a small. I love beautiful things. And so again, I mentioned I just finished my show and I still need to ship everything out, but I wanted to come on here because I need to start doing this on a more regular basis and documenting this journey. Because one thing that I love about YouTube is that it does memorialize the things that you do in a very specific way, and also it could help somebody else who may be thinking out of, in my case, coming out of corporate America and moving toward their independence when it comes to reselling. So this is just going to be just a me sort of talking about how and why I did it. So one of the reasons why I knew reselling was going to be for me is because I am a shopper. I shop, but I can also talk to people and be myself and be convincing and sell things, right? So it was these innate things that I would say I was born with, but then also have been refined. And I will give my corporate job credit for that because I am by trade a human resources manager. And so when you're talking to people about some issues that they have, whether people believe it or not, or whether they tell you or not, you are selling. You are selling. That's a component of the job. A lot of times, in my case, the team members that I'm talking to, even other members of management, sometimes they wouldn't buy it. And so I'd have to think of other ways to try and explain it. It was all truth. It was all truth, never trying to sell anything other than the truth and the fact. But sometimes, people have said to me, I don't agree, I don't like it, but I understand it and I appreciate you taking time. So I knew, early on, even before, again, my corporate career started, that, selling was something that I could do. And so I started buying things on a platform called Whatnot. and I was buying things, and I was buying things because they have beautiful things on Whatnot, buy at great prices, buying, 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 buying. So I knew from watching a video on TikTok that Whatnot at the time that I started watching was not super saturated, and it was a place that I could go and apply to become a seller and sell some of my beautiful luxury things. Some of the things that I bought on Whatnot, I mean, I can show you super cute things for a long time, luxury. And I still look for luxury stuff like this cute little camera bag. I bought it on Whatnot along with a host of other things, all things luxury. And I've been able to, this necklace that I'm wearing, I bought on Whatnot. This bracelet that I'm wearing, I bought on Whatnot. So I was spending a lot of time and money on that app. And I already immediately when I found Whatnot, I thought, okay, I need to apply to become a seller. And then I ran a show because I have these baby t-shirts that have love on them, and I've had them for a little while. They're actually stamped by me. They are cute. They are like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. And so that was the first thing that I was attempting to sell on Whatnot. Of course, I didn't sell a single t-shirt. This was October of 2023. So I said, okay, let me take a step back. Let me take a step back and really study how this works with Whatnot, because I clearly don't get this, right? And another thing about Whatnot is it is a community. It's like very much like the TikTok community. Somebody described the TikTok community yesterday as like a farmer's market where you can go and you can meet people and you can create your community. Well, Whatnot is very much like that. When buyers trust that what you are selling is something that is high quality and it's something that's going to be able to sustain them and it's at a good price, they'll buy from you. And not only will they buy from you, they'll buy from you over and over and over again. So I had to learn that. And so from October until February of 2024, I really didn't sell anything, but I was buying a ton of things, and that's just what it was. And so in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I can buy this and then I can resell it. If I get myself a really good deal. And I was thinking of reselling on Whatnot because a lot of people do that. I mean, it seems strange, like everybody's on the same app. You're buying stuff on the app and you're reselling it on the app. Yes, that is very common for people to do. And Whatnot is full of resellers. There are people like I was buying for myself too, but I was also buying to resell. So anyway, I had all this stuff and I know what it was. I ended up selling on eBay two Hermes handbags that I have had. I love them, but I wasn't using them, and they were high dollar items. So I sold them on eBay, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna use the money that I got from that and I'll buy stuff on Whatnot. But it was never my intent to buy like the entire amount for the handbags, but that is exactly what I did. And I kept rationalizing, saying, okay, I'm still within the money that I made from those two luxury Hermes handbags buying on Whatnot. And I said that over and over and over again. And then once I spent all of that money, it was like, okay, well, now you're sourcing, right? And so then it was like, okay, now you need to start selling. And so that was about the time that I was able to start selling the McDougal gowns, which are gorgeous. If you all have never heard of McDougal makes some of the most beautiful beaded dresses, floor length, super heavy dresses. I still have some back here because of course I kept them. And I had the opportunity to get pallets of them. So these were pallets of 300 dresses. And so in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'm not just going to get one. Mind you, I've never done this in great quantities ever before. And I said, I'm not going to just get 300 because I feel comfortable that I can sell 300, no problem. So I said, let me go bold and let me get 600. So here comes these huge pallets, they gaylords, much taller than me, full of 300, I think one was like 310 McDougal dresses just piled on top of each other, right? Two huge gaylords. So my husband, like I pulled my car out of the garage. My husband was still parking in the garage at the time. And then he's like, no, you just put your car in. And so they're in my garage. So now I have to go through the process of pulling all of these dresses out and hanging them up. Well, what are you going to hang them up with? So now I have to go and get on Uline, which has been a lifesaver, but it can be expensive. And I needed to purchase hangers. I needed to purchase clothing racks. Like you can see one of the clothing racks that I have back here right now, I have like 9 clothing racks. And then once I got all the dresses hung up and on the clothing racks, well, now I need to inspect them, because if I'm going to have a show, I need to have some idea about the condition of the dress, because with these McDougal dresses, not 100% of them were flawless. Some of them had like loose beads. I mean, something small you and I would never notice, but they have very high quality standards. So I had to go through and look at all of these dresses. Okay, and so now once I do that, now it's actually time to schedule my show and sew. And so I can remember us doing our first show, which was like on a Thursday, because my husband was helping me. It was in like the first, second week of February, and we ran our first show. And it was like on a Thursday. And I remember I had such high hopes, and I did sell a lot of dresses on that first show. But the show was a little bit choppy because we'd never done this before. And so when you're selling, your screen on the back end looks different. A lot of people have questions about shipping. Shipping is I'll have to do a whole video about that shipping. And it's something that, even though you go to the orientation and they sort of talk you through it, it's like riding a bike. Like you have to keep doing it to really get it and know how to do it. So the shipping was all messed up. And then there were other sellers also selling these McDougal dresses. And so you'd have a night, a random Thursday night, you'd have 6 or 7 people selling this McDougal dresses. Some of them common, the same, and some of them different. And so you had all of these buyers. I mean, it just seemed to be a bottomless appetite for McDougal dresses. And I made a lot of money selling those, because they were dresses that were priced between, like on the tag, and mostly all of them had a tag. The tag would say that the dress is like $699 or $799, and they were being sold for like $100 or even less, like $85. It just depends, because of course you have style, you have size, you have number of beads, you have all these variables, right, that people were making a decision whether or not they were going to buy it. Most people, I believe, were resellers that were buying from me, and that's fine. I didn't care. I didn't care what you did with the dress. All I knew is that we started off with a $38 start. Now, imagine that. The tag on the dress says it's $699, and we're starting it at $38. And the reason why we were starting it at $38 is because there was some flaw on there. So people came to my show expecting a deal, and on Whatnot, it's an auction. So people are bidding, right? So even if it gets up into the 60s or 70s, you're getting like 90% off of the dress. So anyway, so we did that, and it was quite the journey, right? Because you think like, oh man, that wasn't bad. So the shipping. So our first show, we had to figure out the shipping. Somebody was saying, well, everybody else is running them at 5 pounds or less. And, you all have, the shipping is different. Can you fix it? So right in the middle of the show, I got stopped, and I got to go behind the screen, because my husband's sitting there. He has no clue about Whatnot. I just love him for just supporting me and jumping in. And so I try and fix it, and, I was able to get it. And so I believe that first show, I want to say we sold maybe 40 dresses, right? And this was like over the course of 3 hours, because, we were new. And so then your show is over, Okay, you know, you told everybody goodbye, and on Whatnot they have something called a raid, where you want to pass your audience over to another audience, another seller's audience. And so figure out who I'm going to raid. We send the people over to them. Well, now it's time to ship. And I just remember that first night, like, oh my God, like we couldn't figure out the labels. I knew I needed a label maker, but we only had our printer. So everything was, so all these labels, I don't think I have one up here. All these labels, which are normally on a 4x6 label, we were printing on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper because I didn't know what kind of printer to get, and you know, but I'd done some research and I had some ideas, but it wasn't there yet, so I had to print them out. And you know, you use a numbering system, right? You run the first auction, and I remember I had these numbers because there was a person that I watched, and she used these religiously, and I thought, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. And she's been selling for a long time. So you have these numbers that you just hang up on the particular item and on the hanger, and then that becomes that particular auction number. And that worked until it didn't work, until you know, tags started falling off. But the nice thing about Whatnot is you can go back and you can look at the video in real time to see, okay, who bought what, you know. And so anyway, it was just an entire ordeal. So I'm saying all of this to say that when you all look at these shows on Whatnot and elsewhere, it seems like that it's something fun and it's easy and you can do it, and you can do it, and it can be fun, but it is not easy. It is not easy. There are a lot of intricacies in there, but you can make quite a bit of money. With the McDougal dresses, you know, many times I made 3 or 4 times the amount of money that I spent actually for the dress. Now, right now, people are still selling McDougal dresses, but the Whatnot community has become sort of, they're used to those dresses now, and so the bids don't quite go up. Some dresses, you know, it'll go up pretty high, but other dresses, you know, you'll just get somewhere between $45 and I don't know, 70, somewhere in there. That's about the mid-range of buying. Whereas before, when we first started, you get up to 150, 200. I even had a dress that I sold for like $339. And that was like well more. I mean, that I maximized on that one. And that happened more than once. So it was a good seller. And so anyway, my point in making this video is to say that if you are wanting to do something, I was very blessed that I was able to start this last year. I'm retiring here soon at the end of this month. So I had an entire year to really perfect and to tweak. But it's not that easy, because even today, you know, I ran a show, a luxury show, and I had a number of things that didn't sell, because everything doesn't sell on every show. And a lot of times have to run things more than once. But you know, you just keep your composure and you do it, and you're very patient with people that are in your show, because they could be watching somebody else. So for example, like today, like I had some of the cutest shoes, I thought, and I think people thought they were cute too, but sometimes people are looking for things at a certain price point. So for example, today I was selling Chanel shoes that I was able to source. So they are pre-loved, but they are size 39 and a half, okay? And so I had Chanel shoes and clothes that I was selling, and you know, and I probably ran these maybe twice. And sometimes it's like that, because Whatnot is like the mall, not like the mall. Whatnot is like a retail store, like a strip mall. You know, you have people coming in and out, right? So they're in there and then they're gone. They're in there and then they're gone. So your audience continues to change. You'll have some people that just sit in there because they're interested in what you have to sell. And so anyway, so I really just wanted to share like my journey, and I'm going to continue to do this because I think it's important. And I know that, you know, people people own their own business many times because I believe now, because it's lucrative. Because the money that I make in one day on whatnot, it would take me, 4 weeks to earn, working in my corporate job. And I'm grateful for my corporate job. I just know now specifically that, there's a lot of money out here. And there's nothing saying that you can't do both. You can do your corporate job and also be a reseller. A lot of people do that, and they do that for years and years and years. But if you want to do one or the other, you absolutely can. Or, like me, I'm 20 years at my company and now I'm leaving, I'm retiring, and I'm just doing this. Like, I have the cushion that I need to really go, to the next level if I really want with my reselling. But what I love about it is it's on my schedule. So I did a show Friday morning early, 5:30 a.m. because I got a strong 5:30 a.m. crew on Fridays. Because guess what? Friday is payday, right? Everybody in good mood on Friday. So if I can catch them before they leave out, a lot of times that's what I'll do. And then I had a show today, but I think I had a show on Wednesday this past week. So my next show won't be until, I don't think I have a show schedule until next Sunday. I may put one in. But anyway, my point is the schedule is the schedule that I want it to be. All right. And so I have the freedom now to work when I want to work. But it's still a lot of work because you have to set things up. You have to be prepared. So anyway, so I just wanted to get on here to share my journey. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, as my little niece says all the time. And if you appreciate the content, I'm going to keep posting videos like this. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. Bye.